Hey everybody, movie reviewer next door here, and I'm back with another review. And this time I saw G20. It's an action thriller film directed by Patricia Riggin from 2025, and it stars Viola Davis, Anthony Anderson, Marcy Martin, Ramon Rodriguez, Douglas Hodge, Elizabeth Marvel, Clark Gregg, and Anthony Starr. In this film, after the G20 summit is overtaken by terrorists, President Danielle Sutton must bring all her statecraft and military experience to defend her family and her fellow leaders. So, what did I think of G20? This fucking sucked. This was boring. It was fucking way too long. It's just not fun. Like, I'll go into very specific detail with this one because I took a lot of notes while watching this. I'd find it hard for even like diehard action enjoyers to get into this even past its like story flaws, but let me get to the cast. Viola Davis plays President Danielle Sutton. She's a war hero and now she's the president, first black woman president. Guess who they were trying to emulate here? Yes, Kamala. Viola Davis, definitely really good actress. I'd say the highlights of her career so far have been The Help and what was the other one? There's something else she was in that I know I really liked her. Whatever. I heard she was good in Widows, but like The Help proved that she was a great actress, but she does not work in this. This is not one of her better performances. I can tell at times she's trying, but I don't think she has that good direction. I'll go into that in a second. But that's the biggest one of the biggest mistakes of this film is casting her. But then again, her and her husband, Julius Tenen, produced this, and the only reason Julius Tenen never gets any roles is because he's married to her, so who would have thunk? Given that most of the movies he's in are she's in as well. Anthony Anderson plays Derek Sutton, her husband. He's there to be a fucking victim because they have to have the male character be the victim in this. Also Anthony Anderson doesn't get any funny lines. He's known for comedy. Give him some funny lines. Give him some kind of a personality. Marcy Martin plays Serena Sutton, her hacker daughter. This character was so fucking annoying. Every time she came up, it was either to be a bitch for no reason and for us to supposedly sympathize with her, but she's done a lot of bad shit, so I don't really care. Ramon Rodriguez plays Agent Manny Ruiz, who is Danielle's primary Secret Service member or Secret Service. He's basically her protector. I actually really liked this guy. I haven't seen him in anything else. Apparently, he's was in Pride and Glory, Taking a Pelham 123 remake, Need for Speed Battle LA. I liked this guy. I I thought his character was fun, and I kind of wish he was the main action lead because he has all of the coolest action beats. There's a bit where he like throws a guy off of a table into water that's electrified. That was pretty badass. And then the accompanying scene with Viola Davis was very underwhelming because she can't fight for shit. Again, stuff will come to. Uh, Douglas Hodge plays Prime Minister Oliver Everett. I didn't mind him. He was all right. He plays the chauvinistic character he's supposed to be, and he turns pro women by the end because he realizes that Viola Davis didn't get the job just because she's a woman. But yeah, Elizabeth Marvel plays Treasury Secretary Joanna. She's there. Clark Gregg plays Vice President Harold Mosley. He barely does anything, but he's there. And Anthony Starr is Rutledge. He's our villain for the film. Also, I'm going to talk spoilers, so spoilers. This isn't like giving away anything. It's the same actor that plays Homelander in The Boys, which I like some of The Boys. I don't know if I'll ever do a full review on that show because I don't really want to watch through season 4 again. Anthony Starr looks bored throughout most of this movie, but he has some moments near the end that feel like they're what this film should have been, like in terms of tone. And that's one of the things I need to comment on first. This film's premise is right for like an over the top 80s or 90s action movie. In the way of like Air Force One, where it doesn't take itself so goddamn serious that you can't have fun with the premise of the president of the United States foils a terrorist attack on the or foils like a terrorist plans on Air Force One. That's a fun premise, and Air Force One is a classic for that reason. They realized what they needed to do, and if you wanted like a more, I guess, serious version of that type of thing, where it's like a political thriller, In the Line of Fire with Clint Eastwood, Dylan McDermott, John Malkovich as your villain, who's fantastic in that film. That takes itself a bit more serious and is still really fun. This film doesn't know how to have fun because it wants to be very like grounded in reality, but it also kind of realizes the ridiculousness of the premise, given that the main villain's plot has to do with cryptocurrency, which I can we please let this die? Like, can we please stop with these Hollywood movies that talk about like fucking crypto and terrorists using it to destabilize the economy? Like, I don't care. I don't care at all. Um, but y- yeah, that's one of the main issues is the tone of this film is so fucking off. The director, Patricia Reagan, uh, main things they worked on the miniseries Dope Sick with Michael Keaton. They directed Miracles from Heaven. They directed The 33, which is a biopic. It's not an action movie, and Lemonade Mouth. They directed Lemonade Mouth, which I have not seen Lemonade Mouth. I just know it's a Disney thing, I think. Uh, but yeah, she has not really directed anything action oriented. So I don't know why she'd pick an action movie. Um, and also, if you are going to direct an action movie, at least hire somebody that looks like they can take somebody in a fight. Like, I'm sorry, Viola Davis being cast in. It's been mostly the movie she's produced. She produced The Woman King and then this. And The Woman King has the same fucking issue where she just does not come off like a warrior. Like, yes, she got like a little bit in shape for the movie. She doesn't look, she's not like fat, she's not out of shape. But that's not all you need. You don't just need a woman who looks in shape. You need somebody who can command the screen in terms of both physical and emotional attributes. And yes, she's a good actress, but when she's trying to do an action role like this or The Woman King, she comes off very wooden because she's trying to emulate that Hollywood standard of like men acting like that sometimes, which is also kind of boring at times. But she she does whoop excuse me, she doesn't realize that men and women have inherent differences and men have their strengths and women have their strengths. So make an action movie with that in mind, like Terror on the Prairie. Not exactly an action movie, but Gina Carano's character doesn't just rely on they don't just bullshit up a way that she can use martial arts. She actually has to act. And while her acting in that is okay, it's fine. I wouldn't say it's an amazing performance she gives, but she's fucking trying, and you can tell. And her actions in the movie make up for a lot of that. Here, you have a character that is constantly going, like, the dialogue in this is so shit. Like, I have to. took notes because I didn't realize how bad this was going to be. I was expecting this to just be boring and be like a 6 out of 10, but uh, like the feminist lines, like when her daughter is like she like blames her daughter for like ruining her reputation to an extent, and that's why she's doing the G20 summit is to get people's trust back. And the line she has is something about I had to work twice as hard to get where I am than anybody else did, and you're trying to ruin that for me. Again, referencing the fact that she's black and talking about how it's twice as hard for a black woman to become president because of that, because of racism, I guess, which I don't. This line is just so fucking contrived and it's so like nailing in your head. Like, even if you agree with this, which I mean, I personally don't. I don't think that you're half as likely to get a job because you're a certain race. I just don't believe in that. But but that's also a very broad topic. But yeah, like even if you agree with that, I don't think it's a good line. Like it's bad writing. Like it doesn't matter if it's lines with your politics. If it's bad writing, it's bad writing. And like this, where she's talking to her Treasury Secretary, and she says, "100 years ago, we couldn't vote, and look where we are now." It's just like these like easy targets of like we're gonna bring up like slavery and women's suffrage in this movie instead of developing the characters because this our main character is not well developed. She doesn't have much of character outside of she's the black female president. That's about it. So it gets very boring. um but yeah, like said before, Viola Davis horrifically miscast in this role. I think it would have worked a lot better if Ramon Rodriguez was the lead action star and Viola Davis like had a couple moments to be like, ooh, as the president they shine, like kind of in the same way that you have Olympus Has Fallen. J- Aaron Eckhart, the president, is not the action lead, but you still have memorable lines from him. You have memorable moments where he's trying to like give himself up to help his fellow like workers. Like he doesn't like seeing them get hurt and all that. So you have some character there. Here you don't really have that outside of a couple moments of her. She like it's usually her asking her Secret Service agent what to do because he's the fighter, and the only reason it is left up to her to save the day, kind of, is because he gets shot in the leg. So like Ramon Rodriguez much better gives a much better performance as well. Is much more commanding. He has charisma. He has some funny lines. Um, like, and I just wish he was the lead and Viola Davis was just playing the president. But then again, it's because this guy isn't super well known. Like Ramon Rodriguez isn't an actor most people have heard of. But it was nice to be introduced to that. Um, oh yeah, the action scenes, like in general, nothing is memorable from this. Like even her biggest action scene or biggest moment of badass is supposedly her taking on this like hulking big dude, and I'm sorry, this needs to stop too. Just women being able to take out this like big hulking brute immediately. It's boring. It's boring to watch because I don't buy it. I don't buy her choking this guy out with her gun. It's really fucking contrived. And the scene before this is her just like going around one tapping dudes, like turning around and immediately one shotting, like hitting a guy in the head, like getting headshots on everybody. That's boring. And it's just like it's annoying. It's annoying to watch. It's annoying to watch like all this stuff like over and over. You keep seeing this in movies where they're afraid to give these female characters any humanity or humility. So the only time they get hurt genuinely is during a final confrontation with the bad guy. which is boring. That's how Steven Seagal writes his characters. Do these people not understand? These same people that are shitting on Steven Seagal, which rightfully so for his later movies because he's fucking lazy as shit and he doesn't fight for shit. Him being the main character in a movie and then randomly like maybe gets one hit on him like in the fight, it's boring. When you can predict how the fights are going to end or what's going to happen, it's boring. And that's what mainly this film is. It's boring, disappointing. It's pushing everything in Hollywood that I fucking hate. And again, Viola Davis does not work in this role. Like, I don't care how many people say she's fierce in this. She has no memorable lines. And the only memorable lines are the shit ones. Like there's like a payoff. Like there's maybe one thing that she does that's kind of funny where she talks about the her like personal designer or whatever, the person getting her ready for the G20 summit and getting her outfit ready. Shows her a pair of heels and then later you see her or no, she's talking about having to suffer with the heels, and then her husband tells her to do something else, and then she's got like sneakers under her dress. That's kind of funny, but they don't do enough with it, and they don't do enough to endear me to this character before she gets thrown into the stuff. And that takes about 30 minutes into this 2 hour movie to get to the G20 summit and the action to start up, which the action here is not great. It's very CGI. Like, there's a bit where a secret, Ramon Rodriguez's character shoots um, like the only bit of ingenuity that I recognized that was like kind of interesting was him shooting the fire extinguisher and using that as cover to bring the people from one bit of cover to the other side. That was kind of cool. And in terms of like other funny stuff or like moments where I was like, okay, this would belong in kind of an over the top 80s or 90s Die Hard movie is where they're trying to figure out a way out of the laundry room they're in. And the the wife of the South Korean prime minister, I guess, ends up sliding down the laundry chute and then they're just like and then they look there and they realize that's where she went. That was kind of funny. It's like the one thing I can take away from this. I did giggle, and also I was watching this in the clinic that I was at because I needed to see a doctor. But like, I was there long enough that I watched the entire movie. But in that laundry room, there was a bit of a thing I noticed. So you ever like record a video in a room with like a flickering light bulb, and then you see like lines coming down the screen? That is called flickering, or that it's referred to as banding or flickering. It occurs when the camera's shutter speed and the frequency of the fluorescent lights don't align, causing a visual distortion. So this happens in the laundry room scene. Most of the scene looks fine, and then there's a shot where these terrorists are coming through, like looking for everybody after they've gone down the chute, and you can see that banding, which seems very much like an oversight, like it's a filming error that's in there. There's some bad dubbing where Viola Davis is very obviously dubbed by somebody trying to sound like Viola Davis's weird, like growly thing that she's doing in this movie, and it just sucks. Uh, this film does align a lot to the men are useless cliche where Anthony Anderson he beats one guy up that's trying to hurt his kids and then he gets taken hostage. The boy, their son, quite literally, this movie does align with the whole like feminist like men are shit, women are great because all of the villains are men and there's multiple female characters that just kind of pop out of nowhere. There's like these two random people that I guess work for the hotel they're at. This one woman comes in, she looks like a fucking Wakandan warrior. Um, and she like somehow like she does the stupid like move that I think is from a Black Panther. I think it's from one of the Black Panther movies where they like grab onto them and like flip them over. She's like a 90-pound black woman trying to take down this like German brute. And I'm sorry, it just doesn't work. It's annoying. Like this maybe in a superhero movie this I'd be more light on it because like they have powers or whatever, but it's just bad. It's badly done. It doesn't work. And they keep referencing like, "Whoa, y'all must be from Wakanda. Oh, mom's like Captain America." Like they keep making these references, and that's what this kind of feels like. It feels like a comic book movie that doesn't realize it's a comic book movie because it's so over the top, but it's also trying to be it's trying to be serious to an extent, I guess. Um, oh yeah, and that's the thing. Like the son is such a useless character that the mom doesn't even she like writes a note for in the like presidential vehicle or whatever to her daughter. She doesn't write one to her husband or her son. She just writes it to the daughter who she's had like the daughter's the only one that they've tried to build up a character with, but she barely has anything to do. And again, Anthony Starr like doesn't have much to do here. He's very wasted. 100% why he is in this is because of a contract. 100% he was contracted to do the boys and whatever prime thing they had, he had to have a small part in. He's in a decent amount of movie, it's just he doesn't do anything. Like a lot of the times with roles like this is either like a couple like it's a scene, an action scene they're in that they die in, or they're just sitting around doing nothing for the entire movie. That's mainly what this is. Like he does the stereotypical every so often he has to kill a random person, and we never see the consequences of him killing like the prime minister of Australia and South Korea. We never see anything come of that. One of the big parts of his plan is to record all of these world leaders saying a certain phrase which has every syllable in that language or whatever so that he can manipulate their mouths into saying shit, which I'm sorry, deepfake technology is not to that level yet where it's indistinguishable from the human eye. There's AIs out there that can prove that something is AI. So this plot doesn't exactly work if it's trying to be realistic. Um, Also, the weird thing about this plot that makes it not make any sense. Anthony Starr's character is doing this while the entire world knows the G20 summit is under siege. Wouldn't the best time to do this be when the G20 summit isn't happening? And also, it doesn't really factor into anything because after these people's stuff gets AI-ified or whatever, they just kind of forget about it. The only mention of it is, oh, there's people rioting and the economy is destabilized. And all of this is because Danielle Sutton's master plan to get her on the good side of Americans again is to switch sub-Saharan farmers to crypto, which I'm sorry that doesn't and she wants to move a bunch of third world countries to digital currencies, which I'm sorry that plan doesn't make much sense. Again, I'm not a politician and I'm not politically inclined, but just the thought of a third world country that is inherently like less developed, doesn't have as much technology, it seems weird to tell them to switch their money over to digital when a lot of people in those countries don't even have smartphones. And a lot of these places they can shop, eh, they probably have credit card machines, but they probably don't take crypto. Crypto is like not even even in America, a lot of shops don't allow you to pay with crypto. Like it seems like a very odd idea for her, and the villain's idea is to like I don't know, like smuggle crypto. It's so fucking convoluted. It's trying to be realistic, but it's also doing all this convoluted bullshit that just doesn't work. Um, just like I said, like just I'm just looking through my notes talking about this stuff as it comes. I'm already at 24 minutes. Like that's how much of a fucking shit heap this film is. Um, the I already said spoilers. The villain death is insanely anticlimactic. He ends up just falling off a cliff, and it's like, oh no, did Daniel go with him? Nah, she's okay. Um, in the opening scene, I did notice an actress, Angela Serafian, who most people might not know. There was a I forgot where it was from, but it was a web series called Sex Ed, the series, nothing to do with sex education on Netflix, which I've rewatched in the past couple years, and I actually did still find it pretty funny. It's just about a bunch of college students going through a sex ed course, as a blow up class. And it's well acted, it's pretty funny. Angela Serafian was a favorite character of mine from the series. I wish they had turned it into something full because it genuinely showed promise. It won a lot of awards, so it was nice to see her in the opening, even though I don't buy her being this like secret agent type. Also, this opening scene doesn't really add much to the movie at all. It it just shows like it's supposed to be a fake out of like, oh, um they're using code like Danielle Sutton is using code names, and you're supposed to think she's talking about Angela Serafian's character who's running away from Anthony Starr's character with this crypto wallet that is like a literal like handheld device showing how much money you have, which just seems goofy as shit. Um, but then she's actually talking about her daughter who snuck out and somehow snuck past Secret Service, which like that's an issue. But yeah, like the opening scene was kind of shit. Um, Something I thought was kind of weird. The trailer for this film was very misleading in that it tried to paint Viola Davis as if she was the only person involved in the action. They show a bit from the elevator action scene, which isn't much of an action scene. It's cut to shit. That's a big part of a lot of the action is it's horribly edited and shot. And it's edited to remove Ramon Rodriguez's character, the Secret Service agent, and the head of the International Monetary Fund, played by Sabrina Appacciatori, who ends up hanging one of the people with her scarf, or with a piece of clothing. And it's trying to portray it as if Viola Davis is the main action star, which I guess she technically is, but it's trying to remove everybody else from that scene, which just seems like lying. It's not. It's it's misleading as hell, and I didn't like that. Um. Oh yeah, and there's a twist at the end of who was involved in it. The female Treasury Tech Secretary planned everything, and it's another feminist thing because there's a woman at the like one of the villains is a female. The woman won't kill her. She just like hits her, even though she technically doesn't kill the main villain. So it's a little different here, I guess. But this happened in Wonder Woman as well, where Dr. Death, the female villain, gets saved because she's a woman and because she's ugly, I guess, because her mask comes off and she sees, oh, you went through a bunch of pain. That's okay. It's okay that you genocided a bunch of people. Just go on your merry way. I won't say a thing. It just feels very disingenuous, and it feels like the hero is giving the villain way too much leeway. Like they don't have to be brutal with their death. That just kill them, please, because they killed all these people. And also the Treasury Secretary talking about like you stole what I should have gotten. That's why I was mad and I did this. Like it's such a shit reasoning for why she allowed multiple world leaders to get shot in the fucking head or sliced open. Like that it's such a bullshit excuse and it feels like it was tacked on to just be like, "Hey, look, white women are horrible." And even then, this film tries to portray Daniel Sutton as this like heroic like war hero when she really isn't. They explain in dialogue that she was carrying a kid out of a burning building on the war zone, and that our villain was on the war zone the entire time and is suffering from PTSD. And she did that, and she admits that it's a fucking photo op and that she wasn't really ready for what happened. So she's not even that much of a badass. She just admitted that it's all manufactured, which maybe this film's unintentionally based. Maybe it's commenting on how that happens with a lot of people in politics nowadays, where they get like some big achievement and people are like, or like what seems to be a big achievement when it's really like easy for them to fake it. It happens all the time. Um, but yeah, I just don't exactly know what to do, what to say about this film. It's so boring. The the action just isn't fun. It's it's just overall like a slog to sit through. Um, again, it's got the feminist undertones, which I mean, I was expecting, but like just bad writing, not using the characters to the best of their ability. It's the only things I can say weren't the worst are Anthony Starrs has like a couple moments and Ramon Rodriguez. That's it. Like this film is otherwise mostly useless. And oh yeah, and also the green screen is shit and the CGI is shit. There's a bit with a car exploding in CGI and it looks really really bad. Like this feels like a film that's under budget at times, or maybe they spent too much of the budget on the actors, but yeah, I was not a fan of this. Who knows, maybe in the future if I ever do like super edited videos, I'll go through the movie step by step and bring up the stuff that I don't like about it, but yeah, this movie just sucks. But that was my review of G20. If you've seen the film, let me know what your thoughts are in the comments down below. If you have any recommendations, put them down there as well. Like, subscribe, whatever, and movie reviewer next door out.